And so let's get started. So a little bit about what we will be going over today. We are going to talk about what disability pride is, why it is important. We're going to have a conversation with Ginamarie. We'll have some resources, like I said, at the end of the presentation. And then we're going to have a little activity where you can also participate in Disability Pride Month. And we will share that activity on our website and on our social media as well. So July is an observance of Disability Pride Month. Every July we celebrate that, and it has come about because of the anniversary of the signing of the Americans with Disabilities Act, which was signed 35 years ago, July 26th, a few days ago. So Disability Pride Month is a way to celebrate disability culture, history, and the community. So many people with disabilities still face barriers to being fully included and valued in society. Ableism, which we'll talk about more throughout the presentation, is often ignored. There's microaggressions that people with disabilities face every day, but it is very real, and it is still very much out there. Ableism limits access to education, to jobs, to healthcare, and just respect for people with disabilities. Disability Pride Month challenges all of that. At its core, Disability Pride Month is about being accepted for who you are on your own terms. It says that a disability is not something that needs to be fixed or hidden. It is a part of who people are. Everyone deserves inclusion, rights, and respect without having to earn them. So disability pride is important because it recognizes all of the achievements that people with disabilities have achieved throughout the years. It acknowledges disability history and the struggles that people have overcome to get to the point of the signing of the Americans with Disabilities Act. It recognizes that there are still struggles that people with disabilities face throughout their life. And it also acknowledges that people with disabilities have their own lived experiences, and it has it is a way for people to acknowledge and learn from people with disabilities. So today we are joined by Ginamarie. Ginamarie is a disability advocate from Warren County, New Jersey. While Ginamarie has recently, only recently gotten involved with our program, the New Jersey Self-Advocacy Project, Ginamarie has been advocating ever since she could interact with her environment. And a quote that I love from Ginamarie is, "As long as you have a way to communicate, you are an advocate. I feel that I've been an advocate since I've been able to engage with my surroundings. When a baby cries, they are advocating for themselves." And that is so true. And I also just want to note that I love this picture of Ginamarie. So Ginamarie, welcome. Thank you so much for doing this and talking about your experiences and sharing this with everybody.
Thank you, Miss Erin, and the ARC to allow me to do this, and thank you for those of you who taking time out of your day. My name is the Ginamarie Williams. I self-identify as being a life that happens to be on the disabled spectrum, and I am female. I wear glasses. My hair is white, gray, black, and brown mixed with some texture, little curl. It falls to right below my shoulders. I'm wearing a hot pink t-shirt, and my pigment level is white. I identify as female, but I won't be offended if you also want to call me they, them. So hopefully I did that with respect. And next slide, I guess, Miss Aarons.
Yeah. So today we're just going to have a conversation. We're going to talk about different things about your lived experience in relation to disability pride and to anti-ableism or ableism. And again, if there's anything that you want to add or if anybody has any questions, please feel free to type that in the chat. So the first question is, what does disability pride mean to you?
Yes, it gives my life importance and my life function is on a spectrum of human race. It just so happens to be identified as disabled, right? So, of course, I have the disability pride because I have self-worth and I have value for being alive. That's what it gives me, what it means to me.
Excellent. Why is it important to you to celebrate disability pride?
It's important to celebrate the disability prides because every life has value, and my life adds value to the community. And I'm not able to be separated from my disables. So celebrating my disables is celebrating my life. So when they put this disability pride flag of the colors, um, I believe white in the spectrum of the color flag is invisible disables, which I want to point out because you never know, there's a lot of people that are alive and they're not self-identifying as disabled, and they're also not the stereotype of, oh, they're in a wheelchair, so of course they're disabled assumptions, right? So that's important for me to celebrate. It's yeah, the community as a whole, because there's more of us than they're aware of, and even self-awares too. My feelings. This whole hour is just my feelings, so I want to apologize ahead of time. I at no time want to offend or upset any of you.
I don't think anybody will be offended. Ginamarie, you're very conscious of other people's feelings and experiences as well. So we have mentioned ableism, and this is the definition of ableism, discrimination or prejudice against people with disabilities based on the belief that typical abilities are superior. So when you hear the term ableism, what does that mean to you?
It's beyond just a prejudice. It has become what I call a cultural norm and a response, which may be out of fear. I'm not sure. People are not understanding or cannot tolerable something that they don't want to feel or something they don't want to see. So ableism to me is a threat to my life. And I'm going to share with you a TED Talk. Miss Stella Young did a great little TED Talk, and I believe it's something about oh, I had the name of it, sorry. Something about I'm not your inspiration. Thank you much. So in this, she touches on a lot of ableism as a whole in the culture. And she's, I think, from Australia, but it's worldwide, right? So part of this, she says that ableism is a social model of disabilities. And we be more disabled by the society, quote, ableism, than our own bodies and the diagnosis given to us. She also says other forms of ableism, like, the whole inspiration thing, like, oh, they're in a wheelchair and look at them, or oh, I saw a billboard the other day when the ride service was driving me to the doctors, and it had Mount Everest, and it had whoever the person's name is, I forget, but happens to be blind, and look, he can climb Mount Everest. What about you? So she puts like part of this social model of disableisms is her whole idea of the TED Talk on, like, we shouldn't be exploited to inspire you. We're people just like you. And then another thing she says, Miss Stella Young, which I love, is no amount of smiles at a flight of stairs is going to turn it into a ramp. So I just wanted to say that too.
Excellent. Yeah, that's a really good point. All right. So the next question, have you ever encountered ableism?
Yes, every day. I Miss Erin, as we started earlier, she said that I just was made aware of what the word ableism means. It's not in my vocabularies. I'm still learning how to define it and understand it when it hits my life. Um, it's every aspect of my day, I realize, involves some level of ableism. And unfortunately, perhaps trigger alert, but I'm going to say it. I have to be true to my life, right? I encounter it most with support services, resources, healthcare settings. It seems like the places where it should not exist is where I encounter it the strongest. The areas of our community where they know what ableism is where it is more alive, and that makes me dig deeper to never stop self-advocating. And that's like just expressing yourself, you know, being aware of I wanted you to be aware of the ableism is more active in the disability community with professionals who interact with us on a daily basis. It seems that it is their first response and maybe sometimes has become routine habits, almost like they on autopilot instead of engaging in general kindness, patience, and understanding to actually engage beyond their job training and purpose because every action in life is life action and we are all life. Um, I have may I share a couple? Okay, so just this last week, I was at a doctor, new doctor, and they told me my patient plan wasn't avails when I was ready to leave. So I said, okay, can you post mail me into my home? They said yes. So I be follow up because this was like a month ago, whatever. I'd be follow up because there's things going on. They ran blood works and whatnot. I didn't get any of it in my mail. So I called the office and I was told that I need to check patient portal for my medical reports and that a note time, the person's like, I'm the office manager. I be work here, blah, blah, blah. The whole time I be work here, we never post mail anything. So she said I had to use patient portal. I told her that I very hard on computers. I'm not able to do that propers. And I would like it to be post mailed my home. She told me no. If I wasn't able to use patient portal, I could always come in the office and pick up it. So that happened. Another ableism is I was at a table again with a mix of people that be disabled, people that get paid to caregivers, PT people, some of them executive directors of programs in place that connected to our life spectrum, right? So I started to cry during this meeting and it was extremely triggering to a lot of people. And I mentioned this deliberate because it's not just our social, oh, it will be okay, oh, no need for tears response. It went further than that because there was people of power in that meeting that said she can't control her emotions, so she needs this, that, whatever's. To me, that not only is that triggering me worse to get my emotions more off of what's considered norm or safe for at the table meeting, one of the doctors, let's call her Dr. Jill, she responded very calmly because I wasn't calm at all. She said, emotions liables. It's part of Ginamarie disables diagnosis, right? So that's why I mentioned like Miss Stella Young before about social model disables and that the society places on us goes beyond our bodies and the diagnosis given to us. So if I'm emotion liables and I start crying and there's power people at this meeting that's aware of my disabled diagnosis, but yet they tell me she's crying, we can't have this here, that is slam dunk ableism. So it's beyond just a social norm response of, oh, tears, oh, we don't cry, be okay, situate. It's taking it a step further to actually make me feel unsafe. And I'm gonna end it there because we got a lot to go over. I'm sorry.
So actually, the next question is, how does it make you feel when you encounter ableism? And what you had told me is that it does make you feel unsafe.
Yes, I feel very unsafe. I feel threatened and sometimes even abused. It makes me feel unhealthy because it adds to my stress, worry. Like, if you have high blood pressure, for example, and you're going to a setting where some of the staff are not very polite, they're very dismissive of you, and then they take your blood pressure and they're like, oh my goodness, your blood pressure's high. Well, of course, because I'm stressed, I'm worried, I not feel safe. So it becomes a downward spirals if I'm not self-aware, which makes it very hard because at no time is anybody 100% self-aware. So, you know, they give us this like whole be the mindful situation. Sorry, I gotta put my hair up since sweating. And a lot of times it is an after effect, like something I be realized that happened after the encounter is over. Like I had to call someone because I was very upset. And I said, like, you know, they told me it was a computer thing why I didn't have a patient plan. Now they're telling me I have to go on the portal. And at no time do they even give patient plans. It's portal only. Well, that's, I don't even know if that's illegal with the disabled ADA spectrum of our function, but that's a different talk. So a person, um, I have to stay strong and know myself that I'm capable, right? A person shouldn't have to fight so hard for so long just to feel protected to get something as basic as healthcare, right? We get blamed and treated differently if we speak up, or we get told that we are out of control. Like in my file, it says that I'm combative. And it's alarming to me because not only is that a negative label, it perceive it like now it kind of like justifies the ableism that I'm getting in the office, right? Which is weird. Everyone wants to protect life, right? So to protect my life, I not understand why I should be like pushed back with the ableism encounter. And it's also weird how like now our country, they want to protect the life of unborn babies, right? But when those babies are born with a disability, where's the support, help, and the protection? The safeguards no longer exist for the rest of our lives. And that's what ableism is for me. I lost my place with my notes. I'm very sorry.
That's okay. Do you want to talk? You said that you were labeled combative in your healthcare file. Um, have you ever been physical with someone in a doctor's office? So they labeled you combative because you spoke
I
up?
question. Yes, I question. Like here's another sample of ableism, right? So I have X, Y, and Z. I don't want to go into HIPAA release because it's going to be recorded and hopefully people can learn and pause at least to reflect, right? So I'm in the doctor's office. The last time I was there, one of the staff before the doctor came in got a little snarky with me and said some things I didn't appreciate. So I asked my ride service helper to come in the room with me, and they said yes. Not the first time in the office, so it's not like the doctor's unaware. So they come in the room. Another thing is the room itself, they not always have enough space to even get me in, never mind if I have someone with me. So I that's confusing in and of itself. But back to being combative. So the nurse comes in, she's talking to my driver helper. That's all this person is. They're not on my HIPAA release form. They're not a caregiver, just a regular like Lyft Uber person, you know, and the nurse is talking to them. So I didn't say anything because it didn't connect. Like what I mentioned before, you know, it didn't, ableism wasn't like loud and clear to me. The nurse leaves the room and the person that was polite enough to come in the room with me says, I didn't like the way that she ignored you. She spoke to me. She was asking me questions, even after she realized you are responding to her, but she kept looking back at me to have me like she, it was weird and it didn't click. The doctor comes in, the doctor starts doing the same thing. And then I'm looking at, I didn't answer the doctor. I'm looking at the ride service person with me, and the doctor finally says, Ginamarie, that's when it clicked. I look over at the doctor and I said, I'm sorry, she's just here to make me feel safer. But now I feel even more unsafe because your nurse not treat me and you're still doing the same thing the nurse be do. And what hurts my heart is the driver person, enter name, right? Made me awares. I wasn't even self-awares that this is happening to me. There was no respect level of my aha moment of ableism from the doctor. And I have come to realize that if having the word combative in my healthcare file or in my caseworker management file is necessary for them to make them feel safe, I have realized that I need to find better doctors. And it is possible. I have a doctor who I go, they have notes up saying, please be respectful of the waits. We want to care for our patients, so we may be behind schedule or something of that effect, right? Great. And the doctor is amazing. Eye contact. A lot of us not be like eye contact, but eye contact the doctor. This what blew me over. The room is very much big for me to get in. The table is able to up down proper, so where you not need that wonky little step thing that never fits you propers in it. They have larger size chairs with the arms, like very accessible, very awares. They have a bathroom that's proper setup placement, not just claiming that it's a disabled bathroom because you put rails up and the stall's a little bigger. Like, no, it's like it's I want to clone him and his practice so other people can learn from him, right? But the one thing that really made me realize, and I'm getting a little emotion, sorry, is the one day he wheels himself over to me and he says, Ginamarie, I'm listening and I hear you. I can help you to the best that I can. So we have to journey together. That's life changing. That's someone who brings patience, understanding, is a true doctor, true healthcare. And I keep him on my team. And to let know you, like he had an office change where they went to a full computer thing, right? And I couldn't do it. I couldn't get a person on the phone. It was doing like this, like I don't know if it's an AI or whatever thing where it started texting me. I couldn't figure it out because like once I read a text, I can't find it again. It's like I mess up my emails. Miss Erin's very patient and kind with me to help me, do the Zoom proper. So I was snot crying hysterics to the message machine. And wouldn't you be know it, now he changed that because he realized, hey, this is ableizing my patients that happen to be disabled. So he changed it. He hired more staff. Thank God he's in the position to do that. And I'm just so grateful for people like that. So if you want to pause and say, well, ableism just part of society, that's not true. It's there because we allow it, and maybe of ignorance or fear or whatever. I'm not sure, but I'm gonna stop. Did I make sense of that? I hope so.
Absolutely. I'm so happy that you found a doctor. I want to note that um, I love, and this is why advocacy is so important. You didn't like the care you were receiving, and you advocated for yourself, and you found a new doctor, and now you have someone who you feel understands you and finds your care important, and treating you with respect is important. So that's amazing, and I actually haven't heard that story before, and I'm really happy to hear that. I love that. So you kind of just touched on this, but the next question is, how can people without disabilities make sure that uh, how can we help people without disabilities learn anti-ableism? Like you just gave a few examples from your doctor, but I know that you have some more you'd like to say on that.
I went off my script. So do we have time for me to go back?
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
Yeah. So you said previously, how does it feel to encounter ableism? I'm very sorry. I went totally off script. Um, so back to when you reminded me about sharing experience of being labeled combative with my healthcare and some caseworkers, right? And it's because I speak up for myself. I don't let people take advantage. Well, I try not to. It's a learning process. And that's regardless if you're on spectrum or not. There's always people that are gonna, whatever with you. But this is why people with disabilities have a hard time speaking up, because we are labeled combative, or we're told we're angry, or told that we need to take a medications, or like when I be cried, I flipped the meaning upside down, and then Dr. Jill said emotions liables. Emotion liables means it's hard for her to control her emotions. So I may laugh or cry, or people that are nonverbal, the only way they can express themselves is through actions, right? Like my hands are moving all over fast, right? Because I'm not able to use my words. So sometimes the fear of the unknown from the other person is why they act like an ableist, and they use this for their own convenience. Sometimes they use disability to empower themselves. Back to Stella Young, where she said, I'm not your inspiration, right? And we need to remove this fear and the shame and the guilt that others put on us. There's no shame in my life, and it's not shameful. My life is beautiful. I do bring joy to not only myself but to others around me. And people, I learn from people and people learn from me. Like the doctor's visit that I shared with you, and how he made changes to allow me to continue to feel safe. Thank you for letting me go back to that.
Of course. When we were practicing, Gina Marie called this her power hour, and I totally agree. So any time you go off script, that I mean, you created the script, you're just sharing your experiences. So um I love it. It's excellent. So how to go back, how can people without disabilities learn anti-ableism or learn about anti-ableism?
I'm not really sure how to answer this question, because the people that receive training to not be ableist are allowing it to continue and exist, and they empower it because they do it themselves. The only thing I could do is stay true to myself, the best of my ability, because I do know that I make a difference with some people. They say that every encounter impacts you, whether it be big or the small, and I really believes that. And maybe other people encountering me can help change people to be less of a ableist. I just have hope that I keep being able to advocate and help teach people to be more understanding. If I can make one person pause and think about how they are talking to people and how they treat people, then the connection becomes more powerful and beautiful for the community as a whole. Um, we just want to treat people how you want to be treated and be respectful to everyone. It's a more an oxy to me, because a lot of programs say be mindful. I'm pretty sure I mentioned earlier, like no one's self-aware 100% of the times. That's why it's called life. We learn, we get messy, like the Bounty commercial. I'm aging myself. Life be messy, clean it up. Um, so maybe some people need to take a page from their own lesson book and think before they speak. And that's like with the emotion liables, where the Dr. Jill at the meeting table had to remind those that are in my patient plan, hey, you're responding to her negatively, and this is just her life spectrum of her disabled diagnosis.
Ha- we haven't talked about this previously, but how did it make you feel when Dr. Jill said that to everybody?
It made me feel heard. And I realized that, like, there's a lot still needing to be learned, not just from me, but from those that are in already trained and in place to help me, like the caregiver. Like we are at the mercy of the level of the caregiver. And there's a lot what they say, like, oh, there's caregiver burnout. Well, there's disabled life burnout, so like every level of, we're all connected, and I not know how to empower it together because I'm still working on myself. I try to use words like when I like that doctor's office that I showed up to, and IB said, true story, I get to the window and IB told her my name. Good mornings, my name's Ginamarie Williams. I'm here to get my patient plan and my lab test results. I not have an appointment, but you told me I had to come in person to do it because I'm not able to patient portal. A person never made eye contact or looking at a computer. So I get it. That's your gateway for your job, right? So they're not responding. So I start to repeat myself. Williams be my last name. Gina Marie is my first name. I'm here to pick up my papers. Excuse me. And my patient plan, my lab work and test results, please. Do you need my birthday? So that's another thing that I didn't share. I now make everybody wait because I said my birthday wrong one time. And the nurse left the room, and I was like, okay, maybe she's coming back with a blood press machine. Who knows? The doctor comes in and questions me, what be your birthday? So I say it, and they're like, that's wrong. Oh, so then I'm like, okay. I go to look up it because it's in my phone. Oh, I said the wrong year. How am I supposed to help you? You not know your birthday. Oh, okay. Well, he's not on my patient plan anymore. So it's it's a learning curve for everybody. It's not just made for the people that are in this bubble, because the bubble's much bigger than you assume and think and that you could see, because there's a lot of us that not self-identify like me. I hope I did I answer that? Because forgot what
Yeah,
the questioning. I'm
yeah.
so Sarah's.
So I just wanted to ask about when Dr. Jill like reminded everybody that, this is part of who Gina Marie is, and it's not a bad thing. Um, that to me felt like she was being an ally, but I just wanted to ask you to see how it made you feel because as I don't want to, assume anything. I want to hear it from you.
It made me feel more safe and heard. It was also hurtful because it was crickets. Like she said it, and it was like, okay, there's nothing. It was like like they say that low, that weird low in the conversate. No one commented off of it. I'm still with the tissues, like, going like this, trying to keep myself calm because I know when do get emotions or when I get more loud, because it's like I'm confused. I get loud. Sometimes it's my ear. Right now, my volume, I not know if it got louder, but my AC's on, so it's like really echoing my ear. I be told to use those headphones, but that hurts me more because it like I can't handle it, the stuff touching my ears, right? So I not know how to code of conduct, integrity, training. You sometimes you can train people till the flies come home, cows come home. I don't know the saying, but it not people are not going to change unless they be want to, right? Um, some people they go with the status quo. Like I be told from one caseworker with a situation was extremely disgusting and negative. Be careful, Jean Marie's, because once you walk through, open that door, it's hard to close it and you're going to be labeled. So I know I'm labeled. And I fight very hard to stay stable with my emotions and my words. But then it's like, how much strength does that give me as my person to move forward in society? Because I and it's exhausting. It's exhausting. So it's like it overlaps onto my health too. Here's another thing that they not realize ableism does. We self-isolate even more because of it. And if we get if some of the caregivers and other people, like those that people at the table that ignored me after Dr. Jill mentioned to them, hey, this is part of this. Are you not aware? You receive training, you get paid to provide service for this person, and now you're blaming her. Like there's a disconnect, and I not know how to fix that because the spectrum of disabilities itself is a disconnect from society. So it's very hard for me to try to I just try to do the best I can. And I feel like I'm verbal over I lost myself again, Erin.
You're good. You're the whole reason we're all here. So, the next thing I wanted to ask is how can people without disabilities celebrate Disability Pride Month or just Disability Pride? Because it should go past July, right? It should be every month of the year.
Every day, yeah. Especially those, like I said this, I was on a council one day in the meeting and I was getting very upset um about the response I was receiving. What I should say pushback. I get a lot of pushback. That should be my name. Hi, I'm Ginamarie Pushback, right? But I it finally clicked with some of them when I said, what do you mean there's not a demand here? I said, when you go to the stores and you look at the handicap spots, they're all filled. Can you get a spot? Like there's days where I'm not able to, I get dropped off because the car can't park. That's how overwhelmed the disabled spots are. You go to the doctor's office, you go to the hospitals, like it's overwhelming. And one of the people said to me, which I didn't understand. I had to ask my caseworker, like, what do they mean by this? It confused me. One of the people at the council said, I'm finally starting to listen to you. And I'm like, we've been here for over 2 years. What does that mean you're finally starting to listen to you? I say so much that I not remembers. Like Miss Erin's recording this, and I'm grateful for that. It's going to teach me. I'm going to use this as my learning moment too, to make me a better person, a better soul, because I not remember what the last question even was or how I be responded to it. Never be mind like what I be said. So I feel like introducing ourselves to people with disabilities and talking to people that have the lived experience is understand that not everyone who is disabilities self-identifies, and not every disability is visible. There's a lot of shame to it. That's why I said I want to remove the shame and the doubt and the negatives, because Bruce Lee, can I share my Bruce Lee quote? Bruce Lee, which a lot of you may not know, he was a famous martial arts guy. He like paved the way for people like Jet Li and Jackie Chan. It was amazing. He said a lot of great good things. One of the things he said that I love is says, don't speak negatively about yourself, even as a joke. Okay, even as a joke. Your body doesn't know the difference. Your mind is part of your body, right? Words are energy and cast spells. That's why it's called spelling, right? Like I break this down and it's like, this is profound. This is so like, this should be what's on billboards, not like, oh, let me inspire you with disables. So getting back to Bruce Lee, sorry. That's why it's called spelling. Change the way you speak about yourself and you can change your life. What you're not changing, you're also choosing. That's like, oh my gosh. Like I'm just still working on the first part. Don't speak negatively about yourself, even as a joke. Well, I pooped the bed on that one. Still got to work in it. We're all works in progress, right? But that's so like inspiring that Bruce Lee says that. Stella Young said it in her own words with the TED Talk. years later, right? It keeps coming up and coming up again and again. And how one of the movements that they do for us is like yoga, mindful breathing. Like that's more an oxy, because if they're ableizing us, they should train themselves to be mindful and aware. So I'm getting off again. Where was I?
So you had talked about how people without disabilities can celebrate disability pride by introducing themselves to people with disabilities, listening to them, um, and understanding that not everybody who has a disability self-identifies and not every disability is visible.
Yes. And disabilities, thank you, Miss Erin. And disabilities aren't always something that you are born with. You can become disabled later in life. So it's everyone's best interest to learn about disables. And caregivers know this firsthand. Like, you're the child, and all of a sudden you have to caregive for your parent, and you're like, I'm here, So it builds character, it builds kindness, it builds understanding. These are things that the programs ask of us to provide, and the same thing applies to people without disables.
Excellent. So how do you, why isn't the slide changing? There we go. How do you celebrate disability pride?
I celebrate every day that I'm blessed to wake up. As hard as life is and as dysfunctional as I might feel at times, I'm grateful. I continue to learn not just about myself, but from others. And I continue to work on my life function, because there's things that I do great good that, I'm not even aware of. And like one of the ride people, she said, Jean Marie, I was asking about you. I look forward to your rides. And I'm like, okay. Like you never know how big or small of an encounter can really impact and change a person's life for the good. And I continue to have hope to make changes for the better of everyone's life, not just mine. And that's what I do by self-identifying as a disabled person. I had no idea I was an advocate till I started doing some Zoom things. And they're like, oh, you're a great advocate. I'm like, well, what's that mean? It's like, I'm just trying to live and feel safe. So, thank you for allowing me to do that.
You have such like, and Frankie and Bianca and I have said this since we met you. We continuously leave conversations with you being like, that was amazing. Like the things that you say, I don't think you understand how much impact they have, which is why I wanted to have this conversation with you because to you it's just like I'm just talking, I'm just being myself. It comes so naturally, but I think to everybody around you, it's like that's amazing. Like hearing you talk about your life experiences and hearing you share your thoughts. They're funny, they're impactful. They're just, you talk to people in a way that I feel like everybody can understand where you're coming from and what you've experienced. And so we do have another question, but I just wanted to say that like, and even Casey says in the chat, like, you're doing beautifully. Like you're just talking about your lived experience, but I've laughed, I've almost cried. Like, thank you so much, Ginamarie, for being here and doing this. Last question. What would you like your final impression for everyone to be? What would you like to leave people with? How do you want to, what do you want to impart on everybody?
May you put the next slide up, please? Okay, so I'm not aware of everybody's function, so I'm going to read this. Miss Erin shared the next slide, which it's in quotes, and it says, all life is a journey of ebbs and flows, comma. Mine just happens to be in the stream of disabilities. I said that. I not even remember saying it. So when we were practicing, when she like gave me, which I'm so grateful for the love notes that you gave me from our talk, and you put this on here as a slide, I said, Erin, who be said that? That's awesome sauce. And Erin's like, Ginamarie, that be you. Like, that's how disconnect my function level be. So I think I overwhelm myself sometimes with my words because I don't want to hurt anybody because I'm hurt a lot. And as I mentioned, and it's not to beat up anyone, it blows my mind. It's that double-edged sword, the more an oxy of people that are trained and in place to care for us still hurt us. And until there's that pause of self-reflect for them, I'm going to continue to ebb and flow. Um, and at no time does it make me less valuable to the community because I am in this disabled stream of life. If we are able to remove our fears and invisible barriers around the disability and the negative labels that it's given, you may realize that we are more alike than the differences that's forced upon us. And that goes back to the reflection of Stella Young and what she said that was so meaningful about you know, I can't find it now. Oh, with the ableism is a social model of disability, right? Um, and the self-acceptance and self-growth never ends. That's with everyone. You don't have to be disabled for this to be to have these words impact your life. A life be a life, right? Disability is not a dirty word. There should be no shame or guilt in it. I want to release and remove that. There's nothing wrong with wanting to self-identify as disabled, nor is there anything wrong with not wanting to self-identify as disabled. Um, and I would love to be able to create support groups to have a safe space to share ableism experiences. I think it exists a lot more. And I believe that me being told I'm high function, this, that, whatever, if I'm afraid to speak up at a lot of times, or even in the moment, like the ride service person brought to my attention, hey, you're being marginalized, you're being ableized by your own care doctor, healthcare team person. Like that, I didn't know that. I didn't even know that word. Like I didn't know the definition of the word and the meaning that it was crippling my life. And they say like the barrier of the stairs with the ramp, going back to Stella Young, and the crippling of our function. I don't realize um that this it's more of a negative than people ever want to talk about. And I just hope that, they realize that I'm swimming in the same stream of life that they is. And we're all in this together as divided and on the function level as we are. I read something today, which I think was in the pediatric journal or something, because I do the disability scope newsletter. And it had an article on there, which I click, and I can't find it, but it's alarming where it says 17% of children born today are identified and labeled as a disability spectrum. That's just what we're aware of, what they're reporting. So who knows what that number really is? The norm of society is always changing. So I think this is a great quote to end on because, you know, what do they call that big thing that goes back and forth?
Pendulum?
Yes, thank you. Like our norm is changing, and you hear that on people that use platforms and to share together. I just hope that a lot of the people that are in the power positions to help remove ableism to truly benefit safe, healthy spaces for people that are disabled are not too afraid themselves to make these positive changes that will not only benefit their life, but those that they're in place to care for.
That's perfect. Um, We did have some comments in the chat I wanted to address. So Casey says that you deserve that care and partnership, Gina Marie, when you were talking about the new doctor that you found that you feel respected and safe with. Casey said, your perspective is so important and valuable, and I'm grateful to learn from you. And then we have another comment. Miss Gina Marie is getting a lot of love from the audience members for the excellent job she's doing in this great webinar.
Thank you.
So we talked about a few things throughout, and I want to put some resources in the chat for everybody. So we have the NCIL Disability Pride Toolkit. Let me put those in right now. We have the Stella Young TED Talk. I put the link in there for that. You mentioned that a few times. We have the website for the ARC of the United States. We have our website, the New Jersey Self-Advocacy Project. And then we have the website for Everyday Activism Network, which talks about disability pride as well. I also wanted to put a copy of the slides in the chat for everybody. This is being recorded. It will be up on YouTube and on our website. But we have a few minutes left, and I want to see if there's any questions. And then we do have some templates I also want to put in the chat for people to fill out as a way to also participate in Disability Pride Month. We did just get a whole bunch of comments come in. Krista says, I'm from the same county as Gina Marie. Hearing her speak of considering starting a support group in our area would be amazing. We don't have many resources in our area, and I know so many people would benefit from it. Krista, and anybody else who is interested in joining Gina Marie on her journey of discovering anti-ableism and getting together and forming a support group. Gina Marie asked if you could email me, and I will forward everything over to Gina Marie. So my email is in the chat as well. Then we have Larissa says, amazing webinar. I want to be part of the group that will talk about ableism experiences. Excellent. Casey says, I love this power hour. I can't wait for this webinar to be posted online so I can recommend it to all my colleagues and friends and doctors and everyone. So I also want to put those templates for everybody to participate in. And we have, oops, okay.
Oh, that'd be the next slide, yes?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Gina Marie. There we go. So we do have a template for you to edit and let us know why disability pride is important to you. So we have a template for people who would like to self-identify as a person with disabilities. And then we also have a template for allies of people with disabilities. So let me pop those in the chat. Would love for you to fill them out, send them to me at that email address, esmithers@arcnj.org, and we will post them online. We will post them on our social media as well. Let me get the ally template as well. For some reason, it is not loading. They are available on our website as well. And then again, if you are interested in joining the support group that Gina Marie would like to start, please feel free to email me at esmithers@arcnj.org. And I know Gina Marie that was something that you really were excited to hear from other people and to have other people, talk about their lived experiences as well. I do want to take a moment while I get this, the ally template to load, to talk about how thankful I am and us at the New Jersey Self-Advocacy Project for doing this. It kind of started on a whim just from talking to you. We're very excited to hear about the things that you have to say. And I know you were a little nervous about how this was going to go, but you did such an amazing, amazing job. So again, just thank you so much, Ginamarie, for doing this. And here's
Thank you.
the,
There's another thing that I not know the exact quote. I didn't mean to cut you off. Are you
I'm
still
good.
need to? Okay.
Just wanted to
So
put it in the chat.
I know this quote. I not know who to give credit to, because when I try to find it, it goes from Ginamarie Williams to other people to Plato or Socrates, I don't know. But it's something about being kind, and just to be kind. Like, you never know. Here it is. I found it. Hold on. Let me get it. Sorry. It says here, oh, for the love of lasagna, I hit the wrong button. Um,
Take your time.
it went away. Where did it go? Okay, everyone you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about. And that's so true. And I think it goes back to, the flag of disability pride, where you have these colors that represent just a sliver of the true spectrum of what it means to be disabled. And for that quote, which one of the many people they give credit to that says it, is everyone you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about. Everyone. So it's beyond just for the disabled's life. And I not know how much more to stress that.
You had mentioned the colors of the disability flag, and that is the background on the template. So you might have seen this flag around the internet or maybe even in person, but it has the gray background with the green, light blue, white, yellow, and red stripes. And each of those stripes represent a different type of disability. That is the Disability Pride flag. So that is what Ginamarie was talking about. Okay, so I did put the templates in the chat. I will put them again. Give me 1 second. They are also, feel free also to email me if for some reason you're not seeing them. So that's the ally template I put in the chat, and then the self-advocate template. If for some reason they're not coming up for you, please email me and I can email them out to you. I want to thank everybody so much for attending, just attending and listening to Ginamarie's experiences and her thoughts and her feelings. Is a way that you had celebrated Disability Pride as well. And Ginamarie, again, a huge, huge thank you from all of us for coming on here and speaking for an hour, having a solo show, your power hour. It was fantastic, and thank you. We do have more thank yous in the chat. Danielle, this was an incredible training and discussion. I learned so much. Larissa, thank you for this wonderful opportunity. So many thank yous, Ginamarie. So thank you so much. Um, yeah, please
Thank you for
participate in
having
the
me.
templates.
Yeah, I feel blessed to be able to have a safe space to share my voice and my experiences. And I'm so grateful to you, Ms. Erin, and thank you for everyone that took the time to listen to me. Hopefully it puts a little pause to let know you that, we're all learning. When we stop learning from each other, what's the point, right? I learned from Miss Aaron's, and as she said, she learns from me, and I'm just so grateful. And I feel really blessed to have this, and to be able to feel safe in doing this with you, Miss Aaron. So thank you.
I'm so happy. I'm very thankful and I'm blessed to know you. Like I said, Frankie, Bianca, and I, every time we talk to you, we just come away with like moments. It's amazing. So I wanted everyone else to experience that as well. So thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. We will quickly get to downloading this video and putting it up on our YouTube. I will put a link to it out in our newsletter as well so people can watch it. Yes, go
May
ahead, Gina.
you please send me, because I not know how to find it.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Erin.
Keep an eye out, and I hope everybody has a fantastic rest of their Tuesday and stay cool. It is very hot out there.
Oh, was there any questions for me or anything anybody wanted to go over with me? I
I
not know
didn't
if we be do that.
I didn't see any questions in the chat, but I will also again put my email in the chat for anyone. If you think of something afterwards, which is usually how I operate after the webinar is over, I always think of a million questions. Feel free to email me and I can again pass everything over along to Ginamarie.
Great.
Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday.